Well, hello there. Welcome to the Evolving Together podcast. This is the place where we talk about all those things that happen in midlife with honesty, humor, and heart. I'm your host, Heidi Sexton, and today we're going to talk about, well, how we can stay young. No, seriously, we're going to talk about a lot of things regarding longevity, ways to prevent injury, but also to have strength and to look and feel younger. We want to keep up with the younger generation, right? I mean, we don't want to be left out. And whether it's children or grandchildren or just our own dreams and ambitions, we want to have the energy and the strength and the stamina to be able to follow those dreams in midlife and well past midlife. I have with me today Ashley Anderson from Functional Fitness in Pass Christian, Mississippi, or Pass Christian if you're from somewhere else. She is far more than a personal trainer and functional nutritional therapist. She also holds a degree in movement and sports science from Purdue, puts a focus on healing the gastrointestinal system, which is your gut / microbiome, and balancing hormones, which all makes perfect sense because this is all connected. And she's currently participating in the Active Life Professional Mentorship Program. So damn girl, you are Miss Fancy Pants.
I got to keep busy.
I love it. Well, welcome, Ashley.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, you're my very first guest who I don't know. And you were recommended by 3 different people. And so when my listeners speak, I listen. And so I thought, well, I need to have her on. So this is going to be fun because my family and we love health talk. We call it health talk. And it's like we're always, there is no family function or holiday that goes by where we're not talking about health or fitness or something like that. So this is my jam.
Yeah, mine too. And I'm the person that's being asked. And I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to unpack this here today. And it involves, usually in those conversations, I tell everyone stop majoring in the minors.
Oh,
so people
explain that a little bit more.
So when we talk about family, they're always bringing to me these trends, like whatever the trend is of the day. My dad wants to know if he should be doing cayenne and lemon in his water, or insert whatever it is, like something like that. And I say, stop majoring in the minors. And he's like, well, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, but like, are you eating 5 servings of vegetables every day? Like sometimes we get so deep and we want this one detailed thing. And I'm like, are you doing this little simple thing? Like, do you eat fruit like at least once a day? And we get so far from that we start majoring in the minors. And that's like how I kind of like to look at it. Like fitness, nutrition, health, longevity, like all of it is let's make it less complex. Like it is complex. It's scientific. And there's a lot of research and studies. And I've spent almost 20 years digging into all of that stuff. But if we want to be successful, we have to break it down into real things and real habits and real actions that you can actually do on a day-to-day basis. So like instead of majoring in the minors, let's major in something big, like how to build a breakfast. Like that sounds really important. Like, can you put those things together that move the needle?
Right. And I'm a certified health coach, and I've always preached that just keep it simple, the traffic light eating, and just like eat real food, 5 to 7 servings of vegetables and fruits a day, leaning more on the vegetables. Like, the magic bullet doesn't exist. The easy button, it doesn't exist. And there are trends, like you say. And I do actually want to ask you about one trend, but I'll circle back around to it. It's creatine.
Ooh, yes. Okay. Yeah. I love all the trends. I'm happy to talk about any of them.
Okay, cool. And I hope I don't forget to ask you about the creatine because that's been a newer thing in my world. But so I like that, majoring in the minors, because there are so many things that come up and it's like, it's hard to know if it's a trend that's worth, if it's going to be major or not. But I think starting from that foundation, I call it foundational nutrition, but I don't know enough about the foundational fitness part of things because I've always been very active, I guess. And it wasn't until I don't know, last several years where I kind of just pulled back. And I think that, I guess I'm lucky in the way that I've, my physique tends to hold its shape pretty well overall, but that doesn't mean I'm physically fit. And so functional fitness is the name of your company. So can you just explain to me? When I hear functional, I think of something that works.
So in 2018, I moved to Minnesota. So my husband grew up in a rural small town. I started working at the gym, Functional Fitness. That's actually how I ended up with Functional Fitness in Mississippi. I worked there. It very how do we make movement part of our life to improve our life? So You don't need to be spending 6 days a week, 7 days a week in the gym. The goal of the gym isn't to make you better at the gym. Like, unless you're like competing in something, Olympic lifting, powerlifting, you're a triathlete, like whatever it is, which totally cool. Yes, you can be good at being in the gym. But most of us, we're not trying to PR our bench press or deadlift 300 pounds. I mean, maybe we are, again, like these great goals, but for a lot of people, like those are just numbers that they could have. They are in the gym so they can make their everyday life better. I'm 70 years old and I can still, like, in the Gulf Coast for us, like we're still have stairs if you live on the water and you want to live in your house and you don't want to give it up. Well, if you can't go up and down stairs, then you don't have any functional health. Like, we need to see those things. So functional metrics and what people are trying to do are different from person to person. But the whole idea is movement for for what you need. What are your activities? What do you want to be doing at 60? What do you want to be doing at 70? What do you want to be doing at 80? And what are the movement patterns that you need to have and maintain throughout all of those? Like one we all want, probably be able to get up and down off the toilet ourselves. Well, like we have to be able to sit down and stand back up. In a lot of cases, without holding on to something. So what did those look like? And that's like kind of like, hey, you're here. This is how we get you there.
I love that. And I think we don't think about those things when we're younger. We just kind of think we got all this time to figure it out. And when you're younger, your rebound is just phenomenal. The
So
resiliency. I mean, the body just says, yeah, even recovery, you get hurt or break a bone or something, you recover faster. And so, you're not thinking down the line. It's like, well, gosh, I hope I can get off the toilet seat on my own when I'm 65.
So, like, I think about this a ton, though. So I work with, like, basically 8 to 80s. I have literally someone in every decade of their life in the gym. I always talk about when I'm teaching high school kids, middle school age kids, when I'm talking to them, I'm going to make them more athletic. I'm going to do all of the things that I do, but I want them to love the gym. Because if you learn to love the gym at 10 and you know how to still love the gym at 16 and you know how to love it at 17, you need to love it at 23 when you first start your first job and things are stressful and now you're still doing it at 33, your entire lifestyle changes. If you can consistently work out 2 times a week starting in high school, college, and you keep that throughout the lifetime, you will almost always look fit. But it's a lot harder if you start in your 30s or your 40s and now you're trying to look fit and you're like, people will be like, oh man, I wish my legs looked like yours. I'm like, I have been training them for 20 years. Like, I am in the gym every week. Maybe I only get 2 workouts in, maybe I only get 1, but a lot of times that look that we're looking for, like, I want to be fit like that, I want to do that, it literally has less to do with like how much someone's doing. If they're going 5 days a week, it's literally they've spent the time in the gym. That's what I think fitness is. You can't buy it. Someone else can't do it for you. You can't pay someone to make it better. Like, you have to do the work. I'm almost 40. When I see people that are in their 40s and they're fit, I know that they have invested in their time in meal prepping, in making a plan, in prioritizing the gym. And as someone that's in their 40s and I don't have kids, I still, I own a business. My husband owns a business. We're busy, but it takes a lot of effort. And I'm in the gym every day, but I'm at work. So sometimes it's I should work, not work out. So I get all of the excuses, but it really is something if you can start early, it's better, but starting later is better than not starting at all. The best time to start was yesterday and the second best time to start is now kind of thing. And the gym is definitely that, because I would say when I see clients that have never trained before and they're in their 60s, I notice huge improvements in 30 days. It takes 1 month, 2 times a week.
Really? Okay. So
It's so small, because when you are undertrained or untrained, whichever way you want to look at it, a little bit makes a huge impact. And if my clients are 60 years old and they've never trained before, I start them at 2 days a week. I'm not like, oh, you need to be in here 3 days a week or 4 days a week, 2 days a week. But things are going to pop up. Things are not going to feel great. You've woken up in the morning and been like, ooh, that doesn't feel that great. And then 3 days later, that's fine. And then something else doesn't feel that great. We live to train another day. We're not training to die at the end. We're living to train again on Friday, whatever that looks like.
Right. And so do you do that 2 days a week because of the rest period that's required?
So,
Or-
1, recovery. 2, they're going to get a good idea how their body feels after each session. So, if we train Monday and Wednesday, and 60, 70 years old, I don't normally have them train a Monday and Wednesday. They train a Monday and a Thursday or a Tuesday and a Friday. And that is because they get an ample amount of time so we can actually see. So If you've been training and you're familiar, there's something called DOMS, which is delay onset muscle soreness. Wow, I can't even do an acronym. See, we had this talk about
I
acronyms, and I
know
told you
I'm
I'd use them all the time, but apparently I just don't know how to break them down.
terrible with
Um,
acronyms.
but so if they have any delayed issues, it might not be that day that they work out. It might be not be the next day. It might be the following day. So 2 days after their workout. So that gives us time like, hey, I'm feeling a little tight in my back. Okay, well, that could be workout related. We'll also ask about other stuff, but that gives us enough time to make adjustments that we need for their next training day. You can definitely train on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's totally doable. But what I find is if you make it too much, it's very easy to quit. If 2 days a
Mm.
week, 2 days a week is easy. Like, oh, it's only 2 hours. Like you can literally come up with a lot of things. Like 2 hours is not bad. Also, this is the difference between like coming in and like working out at the same days on the same times. The majority of my clients have a community aspect as well. Yes, they see the same coaches and the same people are training them, but they also have the same training friends in their training hour every day. And as if we look like research wise, like blue zones, if anyone looks into blue zones, one of the biggest things for longevity is community. So now you have the fitness, which is going to help with your longevity. And now you have a community of other people that are prioritizing their fitness that you spend time with every week. It is like, here, it's the one thing, and here's the other thing. And now together, when you put them together, like we're way up here.
Yeah, it's exponential.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really important to do the movement, but sometimes it's just as important to get out of your house and do the movement with someone else.
Yeah, I've never heard that DOM, the delayed
Onset muscle
onset.
set
Yeah,
soreness. Yep.
and that makes so much sense because if you're just pushing and grinding and you're not paying attention. So when my mom moved in with me, it's been a little over a year. She's going to be 82 this year. So she moved in last April, and when she moved, we drove a van, 2 days drive down from Colorado. She could barely get up the two steps into our patio and then the two steps up into the house. And my husband had put up railings so that she could, be safer, which I'm a big fan of railings at my age. I'm like, don't go down the stairs without holding on to something, or at least have one hand free because we're not paying attention to what we're doing. First of all, my balance is great, but half the time I'm on my phone or my glasses are half on or off. And it's, anyway. Um, so I started working out with her, doing silver and fit classes or silver sneakers. And at first I thought, oh my gosh, I'm just here because I want to support her. But boy, it was a good workout and it was 3 days a week. And what I noticed is that, well, her movement got better and she's able to do more. She was doing pool exercises and then she's moved up, she's graduated up to the silver sneakers, which is, I'm telling you, it depends on the weights you use and things like that. She says to me, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, she shows me her arm. She said, look at this. I said, oh, and it actually did look different. And she said, that's muscle. I said, yeah, it is muscle. And that's what I've been, she says I cracked the whip. I'm like, well, I will take the credit. If you don't want to take the credit for working out, I'll take it. That's the
Oh.
easy one. But she's developing muscle and she started these classes when she stopped the pool. The pool was lovely, but when she started doing the actual weights and the bands and the things like that, that's when she started to develop the muscle. And it was only, I think she was going 3 times a week, and sometimes she'd miss one day, for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And she was starting to feel, even at 81, those muscles and the strength, and her walk is different, and she holds herself differently. And so, yeah, I mean, it's truly never too late, but if you can start earlier, that makes
Exactly.
sense.
So when we look at it, we talk about, and I can look up the numbers and give them to you because I don't remember them off the top of my head, but starting in your third decade of life, you start to lose muscle mass unless you are actively combating against it. But we never talk about the magic that it doesn't matter where you start and when you start, you can maintain or gain muscle at any point in your life. It's not like, oh, hey, I'm losing muscle, I should just do nothing about it. If you had never trained and you were 60 years old and you walked in the gym tomorrow and you started building, like doing strength training, you used weight machines, you used resistance bands, body weight, for some people, that could be a really good starting point as well. If you started right now, you can maintain and stop the muscle mass loss at any age. And you can still have potential to build muscle if you're eating for that goal. So, like, that's the other thing. We have to be having a protein to build muscle. Otherwise, we can't build it. But like, you can do it at any age, and that's what makes it so cool. And to see the improvements and the progressions and that kind of stuff. And it really becomes this mindset that I don't want to keep going in the direction that I'm going, or I still want to do these things. I still want to put my luggage in the overhead. I still want to travel and I want to insert the location that you still haven't got to go to. Um, if you weren't fit enough to do it, how would that make you feel?
Yeah.
Like, and not some of that's encouraging you, like, don't wait until, you're retired or whatever to do stuff, because I think there's a huge proponent to that. But also, like, can you be fit enough at retirement to do the things you want to do?
Yeah, that's a great mindset because again, when you're younger, you're not thinking of those things. It creeps up on you and all of a sudden you're like, "Ooh, I can't do XYZ like I used to," or that hurts when I, you know, do it now as before it was not even a thought. And that's honestly, I think where, I want to be strong. I want to age well. And my dad was 92 when he passed away, and he was, well, up until he was 90, he was super active. He took up tennis in his 70s and rollerblading and all kinds of stuff, downhill skiing, competitive downhill skiing, I think when he was in his 80s. Uh, and I want to age like that. I want that opportunity. Hey, I have a huge favor to ask you. Okay, two favors. First, could you stop and go to wherever you're listening and give the Evolving Together podcast a 5-star review? That would mean so much. It helps the podcast move up in visibilities. The other request that I have, please, 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 is could you share this podcast with at least one person that you think needs to hear this information? Thank you so much.
Well, and I'm from the perspective, I get to see people of all different shapes, forms, walks of life, ages in the gym. And it is fun to watch. I have a client, he's in his mid 80s, and I can watch him do pull ups. And I have female clients that have said, I'll never be able to do a pull up. And here they are, they're going to turn 50 this year and they're doing their first pull up of their life. Like, there is no limitation of what you're capable to do. All of the limitation just lives between your ears. Like,
Right.
and that same thing tell a high school athlete that wants to play at the next level. Every limitation lives between your ears. All of it is what you're saying to yourself. I can't do it. Okay. And as soon as someone says they can't in the gym, I say, okay, let's change it. Do you know how quickly everybody changes their mind about doing it? Like, oh, no, no, no. Oh, I'm like, oh, so it's challenging for you, or this is difficult, or insert whatever the thing is. But like, that is the biggest thing about the gym is like, one, it's never going to feel good the first time you do it. Like, it doesn't feel good. It feels kind of weird. You feel silly. But like the other side of it is what happens in, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months down the road when you've been doing it and doing it consistently. And now all of these things that were hard are easy and you can make them harder. That's the other part about the gym where the gym is also the place where you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, it should be easy. Like, you should feel muscles burning. You should maybe sweat. Not everyone sweats. Like, that's fine. But like, you might actually sweat doing this. You might be sore the next day. I mean, like, I don't like to do it to myself, but sometimes I did stuff too hard and I like, am like, ooh, getting off the toilet is kind of painful. Like, I've done it to myself. I don't love to do it. I don't train my clients that way. I don't train myself that way anymore, because if I make myself so sore I can't do other things in my life, like, that's not the point. Again, training is to make everything in my life better. The things I like to do, I can get on the boat from without having to use the ladder because it's in the back of the boat and I want to get up on the front of the boat. Like, I want to be able to do those things, which means I can't be so sore from leg day that I can't push off my legs because I did something silly. And I've had knee surgeries. I've had like, I don't want to be in pain. Like, really, when it comes down to it. And that's, from almost 40. Like, I'm the same as everybody else that walks in the gym. I understand what it feels like. I know what it's
Yeah.
like to hurt. I know what it's like to not want to hurt. I know what I'm willing to do. And if you are willing to do the work at any age or any point, injury, no injury, I fell and my kids are worried about me living by myself, whatever that is, like, there's always a starting point and there's always moving in the right direction.
I like that. Yeah, I was never a gym person. And well, I joined a gym when I lived in New York City. My roommate, we found this it was like, what do they call those kind of gyms where they're just like the free weights, and it's just like sweat and weights. I mean, there was it was as bare bones as you could get. And it was in Hell's Kitchen, and you went down these stairs, and I mean, they had free weights, which of course I didn't know what I was doing. And then I think at one point we stepped up our game and we joined some fancier gym, which didn't last long because I couldn't afford it. And that was it. I never joined another gym. And part of it for me was also just I'm kind of an introvert. I know I'm doing a podcast, but I'm still very much an introvert, and I don't like to always run into people, and I don't want to talk to people all the time. And so for whatever reason, people will share their life stories with me at the grocery store. And I now I'm grateful that people feel that it's a safe space to share, but sometimes I just want to stay in my hole. So I recently started going to the gym because I was taking my mom, and I'm like, I can't preach it unless I'm doing some of these things. And I thought, okay, this is kind of fun. I'm actually enjoying this, but I didn't really know I didn't know what to do. I think that trainers are very valuable, especially if you are just starting out. I have so many questions. But first of all, the first question is, how do you find somebody that is good for where you are? And this podcast is for people in midlife, although I do have quite a few listeners in their 20s and 30s. So I hope they're really paying attention.
Start now.
Right. Start young, start now. How do you find a trainer who can help somebody who's never done anything before, but they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s and up? Because I mean, if you're in your 20s and 30s, that's a whole different game of I would imagine finding a trainer that can work with you safely versus, older. Because I took a class, I'm not going to name any names. I don't know who knows who. She's a great teacher, but I could tell she had no clue what was right or good for people in their 50s and 60s. And
So
yeah.
this is the really hard part. If you were 8, you would do squats, and if you were 80, you would do squats. My athletes do the latter. My clients in their 70s do the latter. Like, intensity is the majority of the thing with that. So things that I would look at for a trainer, and when I'm like, if you find me on social media, you're more than welcome to message me and tell me where you're at. And if I know a good quality trainer in your area, I'm more than happy to pass your name along, or
Awesome.
pass their name
Okay.
along, because I think that's important. I've been in industry a long time. Like, I know I have connections in a lot of different places, and I think sometimes we miss out on, like, hey, so and so is really good. And I think if you're on social media nowadays, like, no one's gonna see me with my shirt off in a sports bra. Like, bro, I'm 40. No one wants to. I don't want to see that. I don't want to share that. I like want to wear full clothes when I train in the gym. Like, so social media is like a very hard thing in the fitness industry, because I see people writing programs. I'm like, you are 22 years old. You do not know what a body feels like at 42. Like, you just don't.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
understand what it feels like.
Yes.
I have done this a long time. You're right. I don't know what it feels like to be 82, but I've watched enough 82-year-olds moved in the last 20 years that I'm pretty gosh darn good at it. Personal training is usually a very competitive industry. So I don't want to help you because you could steal my client. I, on the other hand, think everyone could work with anybody. I am just one of those people, like, you should find a trainer that you like. You are going to spend a lot of time with them. You probably want to be able to carry on a conversation with them, which sounds really silly, but if you don't like their approach and you don't like how they talk to you, or they're too direct or they're too soft or whatever that is, you're not going to keep up with it. Like, make sure you have someone that you genuinely want to spend an hour with. As a trainer, I generally like to have clients that I want to spend an hour with too. So I'm also screening you. So don't think that's going to go in both ways. The next one is, make sure you're working with a trainer that's going to do some form of movement assessment. They're going to watch you move. They are going to some clients assess posture in a standing position. Some clients like I do walking, and I put people through the active life movement screen. But there's tons of other movement screens. I know NASM, which is one of the training certifications, does one. There's a bunch of different ways. They should watch you move. Like, if I don't know how you move, I probably shouldn't just be writing you a workout. Otherwise,
That's
I'm
a
just
really good
throwing
point.
stuff on the board.
Yeah.
The other one is, if you are working with a trainer and they do not have notes somewhere about your training sessions, like, we use an app for our clients in the gym. We are recording their weights. We are switching exercises. We are keeping notes and status updates. Hey, I want to try these exercises with you next. We are tracking all of that in the app. Funny enough, our clients can see the majority of the stuff that we're tracking, so they can look and see what we're deciding for them. So we like to keep it really open. I know sometimes trainers like to keep stuff in shorthand and like that kind of thing. Like, I'm totally fine, but your coach should be tracking your information. I will say that we notoriously don't normally track body weight or make our clients do pictures. But if your goal is weight loss, if your coach is probably not going to track your weight on a weekly basis, or they're not going to make you do progress photos, you probably don't have a coach that's tracking your weight loss. But I don't typically work with a lot of weight loss clients. So that is typically why I don't do it. I am more of we're trying to improve performance, and like, performance can be anything from any range. So someone that you like, that you are going to enjoy being around, someone that is going to screen you, someone that is going to go into your health history, aches, pains, injuries. Because I work with an aging population, I am huge on injury training. Have you been to PT and you can't, like, you just can't get over the hump, or you finish PT but you don't feel ready for all your activities? Are you post surgery? Are you anything like that? That is like kind of where I love to live in the health and fitness. I want to make your golden years truly your golden years. How do we make you feel better? There are so with the active life program that I'm going through, there are tons of other professionals as well. This is going to be really high touch, high level training. It is not inexpensive. So like I can connect you with people like that, but I also know people who train in other similar to what I do and literally all over. But like really those are the most important things. You probably want someone that has a certification, and I know tons of trainers that have degrees and have certifications and that are not that great, and I know some of them are. So like it's someone who puts the reps in. So I love to find trainers who are investing in their own education. What kind of continuing education have you done? To maintain a sort of personal training certification, we all have to do continuing education every year to maintain it. Ask them what they've been doing lately. I invest a ton in my education and also my staff's, because I value that. That's something like if I'm not learning something new, one, I'm probably kind of bored. And two, what am I bringing to the table? Like I have clients that have trained with me for 4 or 5, 6 years. If I'm not learning new information and I'm not taking the time to advance that, how can I bring a better value to them? So if your coach is getting continuing education that's going to support the clients that they're training, then you're probably in the right spot.
I love that. I think, and I love that you're willing to connect people in other places of the country because you're right. We live in this amazing web now that we can connect everybody. Sometimes people say, "Oh, you have this huge network of people. How do you know all these people?" I'm like, "Well, mostly from different life experiences. And then there's Facebook and Instagram, which I'm not on a ton, but I look at who I do know and I'm like, oh, that person knows this person. It's that connection. I just had a conversation with one of my future guests who lives in England. And I was like, this is amazing.
Well, and I think the other thing is if I don't know, I know the right people to ask. Like
Right,
it just
right.
has become like I think we forgot how important those connections are. I think with social media and like the changes during 2020 and everything else, like we just ran into a world where we forgot how to connect with people, like and see people's faces. I'm like, hey, welcome to the gym, and everyone's like, well, okay, well, like, why are you still coming to the gym? Like, people are like, I could work out from home. I go, you won't work as hard.
Oh, no,
Like,
I
you won't work
know.
as hard. I promise. Like,
That is so
there's,
true. Like,
there
this is,
is, there are 20 million online trainers. I promise you, there are like, I'm a really good trainer for my online clients. Like, and I work with clients remotely, but I'm a really good trainer because I spend 20 hours plus every week on the training floor working with real life people. I've seen them move. I've seen that. And I might be like, oh, maybe you're doing this. Let's try this and this because I have active practice. And I think sometimes when you're just doing it online, you miss some of that stuff as well.
yeah, that's true. And you don't have that same energy. My older son, every time we would talk about doing something virtual. He's like, "But I need to do it face to face." It's like, it's just you just have more connection. It's like the same thing of doing a yoga practice at home with a video versus going to a class. It's a completely different experience. And I know I work a lot harder when I'm in a class of any sort. My silver sneaker, I can always go back to
I,
that. But
I'm
I
just
mean,
I'm just laughing because I think about doing yoga at home and I have two dogs and all I'm thinking about is my one dog trying to lick my face and the other dog trying to lay on me. Like that's
yeah,
literally and I mean they're both like 15 pounds, so it's not like they're huge dogs, but like nothing's as efficient and if you're doing it in the right environment.
it's
Um,
so true.
like if you're working from home, like everyone that works from home, people that have offices work a little bit better than the people that work at their kitchen table. Like we've all worked from home at our kitchen table. Like I also can do the laundry and do the dishes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when I have a place that I'm going to lock myself up in and this is where I'm working, like I'll get up and maybe like get a snack or that kind of stuff. Like it's just when you're in the right environment for the activity becomes better and it becomes the focus and you get all of these things. Like it's very easy if you were doing a workout at home, like how many things could distract you?
Oh, I heard the laundry go off, and then my son comes home from college for the summer, and like,
And then like maybe your workout space is moved because put,
oh,
his couch
yeah.
is in the middle of your workout space. Like there's so many excuses. And like because I've been doing like excuses is the correct word. We can call them challenges, but really when they comes down to it, they're excuses. Do you know what when you walk into the gym what the excuse is? You don't want to do it. But do it for 10 minutes. If you really don't have it after 10 minutes, you can leave. No one ever regrets the workout they do. Never
Oh,
once have I had a
amen.
single client tell me that they wish they didn't come today. I have clients walk in, they're like, I'm not really vibing today. I go, cool, let's do your warm up. If at the end of your warm up you aren't ready to train, you can leave. We'll reschedule your session. I have absolutely no problem with that. You tried, it wasn't working, cool. Never a single time has anyone left. Like,
Yeah. You gotta get over that inertia, and I don't mean just for the initial that particular workout or that particular day. It's that inertia that sets in when your body doesn't feel good, your brain fog, you feel heavy, all the things like perimenopause and all the things, and men have hormone shifts too, and weight gain or whatever it is, and then we just get stuck and like, ugh, this little bit of whatever it is, the walk around the block or whatever, it's really not going to make that much of a difference. But that's just it. It does. It's all those little increments. But getting over that hump is similar to, getting into the gym. And one of my girlfriends and I, we used to talk to each other before a particular yoga class. Are you going? I don't know. Are you going? And then we got tougher on each other. We're like, no, you got to go. And then I said to her one time, I said, well, have you ever regretted going? Nobody walks out of there and says, damn it, I can't believe I worked out. Crap, I hate that I had to go to that yoga class. I mean, never,
I
never,
mean,
ever.
it's yoga. Who regrets going to yoga? Like,
Yeah, but
doesn't
even
everybody just feel better? All it takes is one shavasana, and everything has changed about your life.
exactly, exactly. And I would say the same for working out, as long as you're not hurting yourself. So, Ashley, I appreciate you taking the time today to go over just the necessity of taking care of our bodies and in ways that support living our best life, our longest life, being able to move into our 60s, 70s, and 80s and do all of those things. So, if you would stick around, we're going to continue this conversation in another episode, and we're going to talk about some specific things like what can you actually do when you're just starting out so that you don't get hurt, and how our fitness and food needs change over time. We may just be revealing the secrets of the fountain of youth. So stay tuned. So at the end of this episode, we were talking about things that we can actually do, ways to promote the fountain of youth, if you will, and prevent getting hurt, really. And that conversation will be in a future episode. I also wanted to mention that I brought up the topic of creatine, and we never got to circle back around to that, but that will come out in a future episode as well, because I believe it's a really important supplement to consider for all ages, but especially if you're in midlife or beyond. And I wanted to get Ashley's take on that because she is so educated and experienced in the area of fitness overall, but also nutrition, which is a huge part of fitness, and gut health and longevity. So that will definitely be a conversation coming up in the future. But right now, I will be posting an extended bonus conversation with Ashley as we continue chatting over in the groupie level of Patreon, or if you are an Apple subscriber. And the topic we're going to be covering is hips and knees. Yeah. So if you struggle here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not a long conversation, but let me tell you, I learned a lot in that less than 10-minute bonus conversation. It's been a couple of weeks since I did a patron shout out, and this is for all of the patrons who joined the Evolving Together Patreon, either as a free member, a groupie, or a collaborator, which is the top tier level. And you all know who you are. So I'd like to say thank you to Maud, Abdul, Devra, Amy, Ashley, and Rita. Thank you so much for joining the Evolving Together Patreon. Your support means absolutely everything. If you want to become a patron, the link is in the show notes, and you can join as a free member or as a groupie and get the extended bonus conversations along with the mindful midlife moments. Or if you are a collaborator, the top tier level, you will also get to submit your own story or a laugh out loud moment. And you also have access to the Girls Night In episodes with the very intimate conversations I have with my girlfriends. So if any of that appeals to you, consider joining Patreon. Again, the link is in the show notes. You can also join as an Apple subscriber. If you enjoyed this episode and you know somebody else who would also enjoy it, would you please consider sharing this? And if you would, also leave a 5-star review. That really means everything to us, and it helps this podcast reach even more people. So thank you in advance. And if I don't see you over in Patreon or as an Apple subscriber, that's fine. I'll just see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. And now for the disclaimer. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended as professional advice. The views expressed are our own and should not be taken as medical, legal, or financial guidance. Always consult a qualified professional regarding your specific situation. By listening, you agree that we are not liable for any actions taken based on this content.